said it so many times today, but he's your favourite fighter's favourite fighter. One of my favourite fighters to watch him. I hope when I beat him he doesn't retire. I hope he has some more fights. I hope he doesn't retire once I beat him, but that's what's going to happen. I'm going to beat him just like I beat Michael Chandler. Beat him for the punch on the feet, ruin his legs with kicks. I'm going to damage his calf, and if it does go to the ground, it'll be over even faster.
Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett are heading toward a highly anticipated lightweight showdown, and the MMA community is completely divided over who has the advantage. Gaethje enters the matchup with years of elite-level experience, championship fights, brutal 5-round wars, devastating punching power, dangerous leg kicks, strong takedown defense.
You're one of the few that I've heard say that. Can you tell us why?
I just think he's been in those 25-minute fights. He's been in dog fights before.
And a reputation as one of the most entertaining and toughest fighters in the UFC. Pimblett, meanwhile, has built momentum through his aggressive grappling, submission skills, unpredictable attacks, long reach, improving striking, durability, and ability to create chaos inside the octagon. Gaethje has made it clear that he plans to beat Pimblett on the feet, attack his legs, damage his calf, control the distance, and punish him whenever he enters striking range. His confidence comes from competing against some of the best lightweight fighters in the world and repeatedly proving that he can survive and perform under enormous pressure. Dustin Poirier believes Gaethje's experience in 5-round championship fights could become one of the biggest deciding factors. Gaethje has already been through countless wars where conditioning, composure, fight IQ, toughness, and strategic adjustments were tested for 25 minutes. According to this viewpoint, Pimblett could struggle if he cannot consistently establish his wrestling and grappling because fighting Gaethje at striking range would expose him to some of the most dangerous power in the division. Pimblett's biggest challenge could be staying disciplined for all 5 rounds, avoiding unnecessary exchanges, managing distance, choosing his shots carefully, and refusing to get dragged into the kind of wild firefight where Gaethje is most comfortable. Justin has the ability to walk through danger just to land one clean fight-changing punch, making every exchange potentially dangerous. However, Alexander Volkanovski has offered a completely different prediction, backing Pimblett to succeed because of his ability to execute a game plan under pressure. Volkanovski believes Pimblett has repeatedly faced criticism before major fights and responded by proving his doubters wrong. His performance against Michael Chandler demonstrated that Pimblett can remain patient, follow instructions, use his length, mix his attacks, and execute a strategic plan against an experienced opponent. That ability could become extremely important against Gaethje because one mistake in a striking exchange...
Put him on the feet, and I don't think Paddy's going to be able to get him down, so he's going to have to fight with him. Unless Paddy can stay super disciplined for 25 minutes, stay at distance, pick his shots. Justin's just a bigger puncher, and he'll put himself in harm's way to land one of those shots. And it's tough to stay away from it for 25 minutes.
Do you think that the UFC wants Paddy to win?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, because Justin's talking about retirement, and Paddy's still young, and they can continue to build him. There's a bunch of fights we haven't seen with Paddy. So it's more marketable if Paddy wins.
And so how do you see it playing out?
I think Justin stops him.
Could completely change the fight. Colby Covington has also expressed strong confidence in Gaethje, questioning why the betting market and public support could favor Pimblett. Covington sees Gaethje as a dangerous and experienced veteran who still possesses enough power, toughness, pressure, and technical ability to make this an extremely difficult matchup for the British fighter. He believes Pimblett's normal path to victory involves wrestling, takedowns, ground control, and submissions, but accomplishing those things against Gaethje may be much harder than it looks on paper. Dan Hooker has shared a similar opinion, particularly highlighting Gaethje's strong takedown defense and questioning whether Pimblett can consistently force the fight to the ground. If Gaethje can keep the fight standing, his boxing, calf kicks, dirty boxing, inside combinations, pressure, and knockout power could become major weapons. Belal Muhammad has also leaned toward Gaethje, pointing out that Pimblett sometimes absorbs clean punches during exchanges. Against an elite striker with Gaethje's power, that defensive weakness could become extremely dangerous. Muhammad believes Pimblett should avoid a pure striking battle and instead create chaos through wrestling, shooting for takedowns early, forcing Gaethje to defend, and making the veteran work repeatedly on the ground.
Fun fight. I'm going to go with Paddy, you know what I mean? There's been a couple of times where I thought Paddy's had big tests in front of him and he's passed them. And, you know, he showed me in his last fight he can really stick to a game plan. and he's going to need that with a Gaethje. So I'm going to go Paddy.
Pimblett's previous ability to control Michael Chandler demonstrated that he has the grappling ability to create serious problems for high-level opponents. Michael Chandler himself has acknowledged that Pimblett is much better than many fans give him credit for. Having shared the cage with him, Chandler understands his long reach, kicks, patience, composure, physical strength, and submission threat. Yet despite respecting Pimblett's abilities, Chandler still favors Gaethje because of Justin's experience, complete skill set, championship-level mentality, and proven ability to compete against elite competition. Sean O'Malley represents the opposite side of the prediction debate, backing Pimblett and even predicting a potential submission victory. O'Malley believes Pimblett has multiple ways to win and could take advantage of an opening during a chaotic exchange before securing a rear-naked choke or another submission. That prediction highlights one of Pimblett's biggest strengths, his ability to transition quickly from striking into grappling and capitalize when opponents make positional mistakes. Pimblett does not...
You know, if he gets it done, it's because Justin's just so shot. He's been in so many wars. You know, he's been around the company so long, and that knockout to Max Holloway, he just hasn't recovered from. So if he gets a win that, then yeah, there. But this is like, seems like a smash spot. Like if I was able to bet fighting, which we're not allowed to because the feds got involved because that moron coach James Krause screwed it up for all of us, but this seems like a smash spot on Gaethje because everybody's on and all the public is driving the money line for Paddy Pimblett to be the favorite. But you know, I think Justin's still a tough dog, and he's going to come out there and give his all, and he doesn't want to lose this fight. This could be his last fight if he loses. So, you know, I think he's going to put Paddy to the test, and, you know, Paddy, you know, usually has to control the wrestling aspect, put guys to the ground to get his submission and to get his striking game working. So, you know, I don't know. Justin's shot on one hand. They're trying to give him an easy win on a silver platter to Paddy to build him up. You know, he's got a little bowl cut and a little mouth, and they think he's the next star. So, I don't know. It's a tough fight to judge. You know, how much is left in the tank for Justin versus a guy that's absolute nobody that hasn't actually accomplished anything in the sport yet. We shall see.
Necessarily need to dominate Gaethje in every area. He needs to create enough uncertainty that Justin cannot comfortably commit to his striking offense. The matchup has also created a larger debate about how UFC title opportunities are determined. Matt Brown criticized the modern matchmaking system and suggested that Pimblett's popularity, social media presence, entertainment value, and marketability may have contributed to his rapid rise toward championship contention. Brown compared that situation with fighters such as Arman Tsarukyan, who have built their reputations through elite competition, rankings, wrestling credentials, and victories over highly ranked opponents. This debate raises an important question about whether sporting merit or marketability should have greater influence when championship opportunities are awarded. Uriah Faber also favors Gaethje because of Justin's comfort in chaotic fights. Faber believes Gaethje thrives when opponents are willing to stand and trade, while his wrestling background gives him additional tools to defend Pimblett's grappling and keep the fight where he wants it. Tony Ferguson aired another interesting perspective, focusing on motivation and mental pressure. Gaethje has competed for championship gold before and has experienced major setbacks, while Pimblett is chasing his first opportunity to establish himself as a legitimate title contender. That hunger could provide...
Boxing. Don't get pulled into chaos. Don't get pulled into a grappling or wrestling or showing that you could do what he can do better, right? I think on the feet, Justin, you have a really big advantage. And if you're patient, you're smart, you systematically break him down, kind of like how you did against Tony Ferguson, it'll be an easy night for you. For Paddy, I think you got to create chaos. You got to wrestle as much as possible. Yeah, he has college wrestling accolades. This isn't college wrestling. This is UFC. This is fighting. This is punches. This is grappling. This is everything involved. So if I'm Paddy, I'm going to shoot in early and test it early. Because when you guys are both dry, that's where it comes. We've seen guys like Habib catch a low kick and shoot off it, or as he's pulling that kick back, shoot off it, pushing him to the fence. We've seen him get pressured. We don't want to get hit by him. Everybody who gets hit by him says how hard he hits. He's one of the hardest hitters in the division. So let's not test your chin. Let's not say Scousers don't get knocked out, right? We don't need to do that. I think your path to victory is clear. It's on the ground. I think you will have a big advantage if it gets into those hard grappling exchanges. And especially if you get multiple takedowns on him. You were able to control Michael Chandler, who's another college wrestler, on the ground pretty easily, mounted him. And you say you want to do the same thing with Justin? Let's put that plan to action. My pick, I think I'm going to go with Justin. I think Paddy just gets hit a lot on the feet. Yeah, he's pretty much clean his last 2 victories, but Jared Gordon had some clean shots on him, big hooks, big crosses. And Justin kind of like boxes kind of like Jared. Clean, he likes dirty boxing, he likes inside boxing. Justin's very good there, so I think I'm going to pick Justin in this one. I don't know if he knocks him out or finishes him. I do think it kind of would be a decision. I'm going on the Tony Ferguson type fight because Paddy's tough. He's not hard to break. I mean, it's not easy to break.
Pimblett with additional motivation, confidence, and energy during the biggest moments of the fight. Another prediction favors Pimblett through submission, with the argument that Gaethje's best chance is to hurt him early before the fight turns into an extended grappling battle. If Pimblett survives Gaethje's early striking storm and starts securing takedowns, his submission game could become increasingly dangerous as the fight progresses. Eddie Alvarez, who personally experienced Gaethje's pressure, offered perhaps one of the most important tactical observations. Alvarez explained that Gaethje's pressure is difficult to reproduce in a training environment because his real fight intensity, physicality, aggression, and willingness to stand in the pocket are completely different from normal sparring. According to Alvarez, the best way to fight Gaethje is not simply to retreat. An opponent must meet his pressure with calculated offense, throw while Gaethje is attacking, and find openings between his combinations. That could be a crucial lesson for Pimblett. If Pimblett spends the entire fight moving backward, Gaethje could control the pace, range, and positioning. But if Pimblett combines movement with takedowns, kicks, counters, clinch attacks, and submission threats, he could disrupt Gaethje's rhythm and force him to fight defensively. Another important factor is Pimblett's durability and ability to keep pushing forward after taking punishment. His supporters believe his well-rounded MMA skill set allows him to transition smoothly between striking and grappling.
Oh man, more skilled, more experienced, I think better fighter all around, Justin Gaethje. But I also have been on record and said that Paddy Pimblett is better than a lot of people think he is. You know, because of his haircut and the way he talks. And when I fought him, he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. He's got long reach, good kicks, pretty darn patient and composed in there. But Gaethje's a whole different animal. So if I had to bet, I'd go Justin Gaethje, interim champion, and then he beats Ilia Topuria later on this year.
Forcing opponents to constantly make difficult defensive decisions. If Pimblett threatens a takedown, Gaethje may hesitate to fully commit to his combinations. If Gaethje focuses too heavily on defending the takedown, Pimblett can use kicks and punches to create new openings. This constant threat could be the key to Pimblett's success. For Gaethje, the strategy appears much clearer. Maintain distance, attack the legs, use his boxing, defend the takedowns, punish Pimblett's entries, and force him into prolonged striking exchanges. The calf kick could be particularly important because damaging Pimblett's legs could reduce his mobility and make his wrestling attempts easier to read. Gaethje's jab, hooks, straight punches, low kicks, and inside boxing could also become major weapons as the fight progresses. For Pimblett, the path to victory revolves around getting the fight into grappling situations, securing takedowns, establishing...
I don't know, dude. I'm kind of leaning towards Paddy. But the way he does get hit with left hooks, he looks so good against Michael Chandler. Paddy's got a lot of ways to win.
He's a scouser.
He's a scouser. Scousers don't get knocked out, you mushroom.
He KO'd Dustin with a head kick too. The fight before the Max Holloway one, which is pretty impressive.
True. So who we got, man?
Probably Paddy, rear naked.
I think. Paddy
going down in the details. Remember, could be.
Yeah.
Top control, threatening submissions, and making Gaethje work continuously. The opening minutes could be critical because both fighters will want to establish their preferred style before the other can gain momentum. If Pimblett gets an early takedown, it could immediately force Gaethje to defend submissions and expend valuable energy. If Gaethje stuffs those attempts and lands clean counters, the momentum could shift dramatically in his favor. The 5-round format adds another layer because both fighters must manage their conditioning and energy while maintaining a high level of technical execution. Gaethje has extensive experience in championship fights, but Pimblett has youth, hunger, confidence, and an evolving skill set on his side. This is why the predictions remain so divided. Some analysts see Gaethje's elite striking, experience, wrestling defense, durability, and knockout power as too much for Pimblett. Others believe Pimblett's grappling, submission ability, Size, reach, adaptability, and motivation give him a realistic opportunity to shock the veteran. Ultimately, the fight could come down to one fundamental question. Can Pimblett consistently impose his grappling without absorbing too much damage on the way inside? If he can secure takedowns, maintain control, attack submissions, and force Gaethje to defend.
Basically saying Paddy's more popular, you're getting it over Armin.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, right? And that's, I mean, God, I hate like how I kind of get into this too much, but I mean, that's really like, that's the definition of, you know, a monopoly where a single promoter owns the title and the rankings. And it's not a good thing for the sport, in my opinion. And I have to question what it's going to do for the longevity of the sport. You know, I don't think in the short term it's really going to make a big difference, right? Like, you know, it's going to sell the next fight, right? It's going to sell the next pay-per-view. But trends tend to come and go, right? Fads tend to come and go. At some point, like, you know, to have staying power and lasting power, I think it requires, you know, a meritocracy-based system. It's going to require, you know, some, you know, if you want to bring in guys like Armin Tsarukyan or Movsar Evloev, I always mess up how I say his name. You know, you want to bring in these Olympic wrestling level guys. I mean, they don't want to have to go out there and put on some ridiculous show to become a champion. They don't want to have to go on Instagram and start a podcast and make you know, whatever kind of skits on social media and this silly kind of stuff. Like, they just want to be a world champion because they want to be the best athlete. And that's what makes me wonder how the staying power is going to be, right? When you're dealing with guys that are, you know, legitimate athletes that want to be legitimate athletes, and they're getting passed up by guys that are entertainers.
Defend repeatedly. Pimblett has a legitimate route to victory. But if Gaethje stuffs the takedowns, keeps the fight standing, attacks Pimblett's legs, and lands his powerful combinations, the British fighter could find himself facing one of the most difficult challenges of his career. For Gaethje, this matchup could represent another defining chapter in his career and another opportunity to remain at the top of the lightweight division. For Pimblett, a victory over a veteran of Gaethje's caliber would be a massive statement and could finally silence many of the critics who question whether he belongs among the elite. This is more than just a matchup between a dangerous striker and a talented grappler. It is a battle between experience and ambition, pressure and unpredictability, power and submissions, veteran toughness and youthful hunger. Both fighters have clear paths to victory, but neither can afford to make major mistakes. Once the cage door closes, all the predictions, betting odds, criticism, hype, rankings, and outside opinions will disappear. Gaethje will have to prove that his
Pimblett and Justin Gaethje, who do you favor in that fight?
I gotta go with Gaethje. I feel like he's the one that loves to like get down and throw fist for fist, and he's also got the Division I wrestling to negate some of the biggest skill sets of Paddy. Paddy's like a very dominant grappler when it comes to submissions. I think Gaethje has the tools to keep it where he wants.
He competes championship experience, devastating striking, leg attacks, defensive wrestling, and relentless pressure can stop Pimblett's rise. Pimblett will have to prove that his grappling, submissions, durability, composure, and evolving striking are enough to overcome one of the most experienced and dangerous fighters in the lightweight division. If Gaethje wins, he could continue his pursuit of UFC gold and potentially secure another major championship opportunity. If Pimblett wins, the victory could completely transform his career and establish him as a serious contender at the top of the lightweight division. With elite fighters and respected analysts split on the outcome, the anticipation continues to build. One thing is certain. When these two finally meet inside the Octagon, the winner will not simply earn another victory. He will make a major statement about where he belongs in the UFC lightweight hierarchy. Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett are heading toward a highly anticipated lightweight showdown, and the MMA community is completely divided over who has the advantage. Gaethje enters the match.
Bad, dude. Paddy's not bad. He's very beatable, and Gaethje's very beatable as well. But when it goes into the passion and how upsetting Justin Gaethje has always been about not getting that real title shot, and they just keep dangling it right there again, Paddy's in for a new treat, right? Paddy's the one that's never fought for a belt. he's going in there. He's going to be trying to, get that stuff. He's going to feel a little bit more fresher. He's going to have that little bit of excitedness, in my opinion.
Matchup with years of elite-level experience, championship fights, brutal 5-round wars, devastating punching power, dangerous leg kicks, strong takedown defense, and a reputation as one of the most entertaining and toughest fighters in the UFC. Pimblett, meanwhile, has built momentum through his aggressive grappling, submission skills, unpredictable attacks, long reach, improving striking, durability, and ability to create chaos inside the octagon. Gaethje has made it clear that he plans to beat Pimblett on the feet, attack his legs, damage his calf, control the distance, and punish him whenever he enters striking range. His confidence comes from competing against some of the best lightweight fighters in the world and repeatedly proving that he can survive and perform under enormous pressure. Dustin Poirier believes Gaethje's experience in 5-round championship fights could become one of the biggest deciding factors. Gaethje has already been through countless wars where conditioning, composure, fight IQ, toughness, and strategic adjustments were tested.
Tough matchup, I think 5 rounds. This is the common take. Everybody gonna say that, not only me, but if Justin Gaethje doesn't stop him on the beginning, he's going to lose. I think everybody thinks like that. And I think Paddy Pimblett will beat Justin Gaethje. That's what I think.
For 25 minutes. According to this viewpoint, Pimblett could struggle if he cannot consistently establish his wrestling and grappling because fighting Gaethje at striking range would expose him to some of the most dangerous power in the division. Pimblett's biggest challenge could be staying disciplined for all 5 rounds, avoiding unnecessary exchanges, managing distance, choosing his shots carefully, and refusing to get dragged into the kind of wild firefight where Gaethje is most comfortable. Justin has the ability to walk through danger just to land one clean fight-changing punch, making every exchange potentially dangerous. However, Alexander Volkanovski has offered a completely different prediction, backing Pimblett to succeed because of his ability to execute a game plan under pressure. Volkanovski believes Pimblett has repeatedly faced criticism before major fights and responded by proving his doubters wrong. His performance against Michael Chandler demonstrated that Pimblett can remain patient, follow instructions, use his length, mix his attacks, and execute a strategic plan against an experienced opponent. That ability could become extremely important against Gaethje because one mistake in a striking exchange could completely change the fight. Colby Covington has also expressed strong confidence in Gaethje.
That I'm glad it's over and I never want to do it again. I'm like, the fans don't ever ask for a rematch or anything like that because that would have never. I'm like, I'm glad. He's unique, man, and he's one of my favorite guys to watch. So like, but if you want to beat Justin Gaethje, you have to. So he's a forward fighter and a pressure fighter that he will stand in the pocket. And he's gonna throw everything he got in that pocket. If you don't meet him, you'll get chewed up. So Paddy, the way to beat a guy who does this, very violent, aggressive pressure fighter, you have to meet him. You have to throw when he throws. So you got to be brave, and you have to go when he goes in between his shots. If you do that, you got a fair shot. If you don't do that, if you're not brave and courageous and throw when he throws in between his shots, it's going to be a really long night. It's going to be a hard night for you.
Questioning why the betting market and public support could favor Pimblett. Covington sees Gaethje as a dangerous and experienced veteran who still possesses enough power, toughness, pressure, and technical ability to make this an extremely difficult matchup for the British fighter. He believes Pimblett's normal path to victory involves wrestling, takedowns, ground control, and submissions, but accomplishing those things against Gaethje may be much harder than it looks on paper. Dan Hooker has shared a similar opinion, particularly highlighting Gaethje's strong takedown defense and questioning whether Pimblett can consistently force the fight to the ground. If Gaethje can keep the fight standing, his boxing, calf kicks, dirty boxing, inside combinations, pressure, and knockout power could become major weapons. Belal Muhammad has also leaned toward Gaethje, pointing out that Pimblett sometimes absorbs clean punches during exchanges. Against an elite striker with Gaethje's power, that defensive weakness could become extremely dangerous.
And we know an interim champion basically means the number one contender. But if Paddy can pull it off, unbelievable. That'll be 4 champs, 2 interims and 2 legit, well 3 legit now with Tom being promoted from the UK that have become champions. And for Justin Gaethje, this is the final go. This is the final crack of the whip. The man's had 2 title fights in the past, Charles Oliveira to Khabib Nurmagomedov, and now he gets to go up against Paddy Pimblett. Now, talking about the matchup, of course, it is an easier fight for Justin than what it is against Khabib Nurmagomedov, one of the greatest of all time. Islam Makhachev, the current pound for pound, and according to many people, a man that is surpassing Khabib Nurmagomedov, right? So in that regard, it is an easier matchup. Will Paddy be able to take him down? Will he dance around the octagon? Yes, he will. Will he try and replicate the game plan of Max Holloway? Of course he will. Who wouldn't try and do that? You aren't going to stand and go toe-to-toe with Justin Gaethje because the man does have knockout power. But underestimate Paddy at your peril.
Muhammad believes Pimblett should avoid a pure striking battle and instead create chaos through wrestling, shooting for takedowns early, forcing Gaethje to defend, and making the veteran work repeatedly on the ground. Pimblett's previous ability to control Michael Chandler demonstrated that he has the grappling ability to create serious problems for high-level opponents. Michael Chandler himself has acknowledged that Pimblett is much better than many fans give him credit for. Having shared the cage with him, Chandler understands his long reach, kicks, patience, composure, physical strength, and submission threat. Yet despite respecting Pimblett's abilities, Chandler still favors Gaethje because of Justin's experience, complete skill set, championship-level mentality, and proven ability to compete against elite competition. Sean O'Malley represents the opposite side of the prediction debate, backing Pimblett and even predicting a potential submission victory. O'Malley believes Pimblett has multiple ways to win and could take advantage of an opening during a chaotic